Ever considered using TikTok for your business? How effective is it really? And want to get insights and tips to improve using it even more? So today you are in luck. Our guest is the expert of all experts when it comes to TikTok. Maeve Aitchison. I've got an accent. I've got the name wrong probably. And Maeve, she's here to take away all the mystery and make you feel excited about beyond TikTok.
So welcome, Maeve.
Thanks so much for having me.
She's probably not talking to me now.
With a surname like Aitchison, I'll answer to anything, so don't worry.
You've got Heart Aitchison at this stage with the pronunciation there. But hey, it's all good. It's all good. And did you know, Maeve and Emer, I'd like to wish you both a happy National Gardening Day. Yes, according to daysoftheyears.com, that is today's day. So I'm looking forward to unearthing some TikTok seeds of wisdom. Yes, Maeve, you will get used to me. I'm full of puns and.
All right. Well, then you know what? I'm glad I came prepared. Got out my toolkit. Okay, Philip, I'm going to hit you with one. How do trees get on social media?
I don't know.
They have to log in.
It's just really bad, isn't it? And I thought you hated the digital
giggle. Do you know what I'm thinking? Do you know what? Everybody else seemed to. I was the one who was on to, take it down. Maybe we'll bring it back. Watch the space.
Did you like that joke, Maeve? You can use that in one of your client presentations.
Love it. I'm jotting that one down, keeping it in the little black book.
Oh no, yeah. I'll say, no, don't encourage him because he'll start again now. So, but there you go. We are here and delighted to have Maeve Aitchison. I can't even say it today.
Aitchison.
What is wrong, Aitchison? All right, I need more coffee. I don't have enough in my coffee there. No. Sorry, Maeve. So Maeve is a strategic content director of an award-winning creative agency called Pluto. Actually, I must ask you why is it called Pluto, Maeve?
Oh, so this is one of those things I should tell you a lie about a really good reason to why it was named Pluto, but Kathy would IMD would never forgive me for lying. Do you remember back, like, I don't know how long ago, maybe 16 years ago, there was the whole debate about Pluto, is it a planet, is it not? So it was all over the news, and Kathy was in the midst of setting up the company, and all she could hear on the news every day in day out was Pluto. I just thought, right, this is it. But Pluto actually represents transformation. So I like to say that's why we're such a transformative agency. And that's the real reason underneath it all that it was named Pluto.
So anyway, that's a great story because yourself, people are always wondering, why would you call a business this? Blah, blah, blah. And so I actually found that was I thought it would be some sort of like startling, planet experience, space age, cutting edge.
Not as well. Look, it's all of those things, but
that's why it's award-winning, Maeve. Look,
it's always a good conversation starter because you say Pluto and people say Pluto, and you say like the planet or not the planet.
That's what I was going to say. So interesting story. So anyway, apart from that, you love creating experiences and understanding people, and can't wait to share lots of your insights regarding TikTok, which is one topic we haven't really hit on in a while, Philip,
Yes, first one. So you're the first expert on about TikTok, Maeve. So
no pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah, because for the last time we talked about TikTok, wasn't it, Philip? We were going, we'll never be on that. That's all for the young people. And
No, if you're not on it already, I'll have you downloading it in the next half an hour. That's for sure.
But anyway, welcome, Maeve. And Philip, as I say, it's going to be one interesting show or shows. We have two of them.
Yeah, well, absolutely. We're delighted that Maeve is going to be with us for two shows. So this is part one, and definitely make sure you tune in to next Friday when Maeve will be back with part two, sharing more TikTok insights. And if you missed our show last week, make sure you check out part two of our Twitter masterclass tips and insights with leading influencer Madeline Sklar. And you'll be catch that up on the Let's Get Social Show podcast on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, and of course on the Dublin South FM website.
And if video is your thing, then hop over to YouTube. You'll find us there under the Let's Get Social show. And all we always say now is ring that bell and leave us a comment, and of course subscribe so you don't miss a thing.
Absolutely. And finally, before we get into the interview with Maeve, if you have any other topics like TikTok or any of the other channels and you want to do a show on that, drop us an email to inquiries@dublinsouthfm.ie.
So Maeve, to kick it all off, let's just get to the meat in the sandwich. What is TikTok, and how is it going to differ from, say, the other social platforms, like, for example, Twitter or Facebook or Instagram?
Yeah, so I suppose TikTok is a video sharing app first and foremost. And I suppose it's known for being kind of an entertainment app, and that's kind of what people would know it for. Although more recently, it's, I suppose, rivaling search engines, and that's going to show in its value in terms of using it from like a discovery point of view. And that's a really kind of interesting take, and that's kind of only happening in the last couple of months. But I suppose it probably it kind of blew up in the mainstream in 2020, particularly for us here in Ireland. I think that's when the mainstream were starting to kind of get their teeth into it, but it had been around for a couple of years before that. And I suppose what really sets it apart from the other kind of social platforms or entertainment platforms that we're using, the first one everyone knows about is its algorithm. So TikTok's algorithm is just so sensitive and so powerful compared to other platforms. That's kind of its biggest selling point, and it's, I suppose, its biggest hook for as a user, and I suppose as an advertiser. The other thing, I suppose, is that it's got a highly engaged audience. That's what we're kind of seeing time and time again versus other platforms. So, you know, that comes from a lot of things, but even when the app was initially developed, you know, it was the first kind of video first format, and then like full screen. So when I first got TikTok, you couldn't even see the clock on your phone. So when you went onto it, it was so easy to fall into the like dark hole of spending 4 hours on TikTok because you couldn't even see what time it was. Now that has changed, but that's kind of what I suppose dragged people in to begin with. And then the other kind of big is around the sounds and the music. So it just has allowed for, you know, the kind of, I suppose, sounds is a big part of TikTok now. Even if I make a video right now, I can make my sound available for anybody else to use it and kind of use it as a jumping off point. And kind of lip sync to my voice or whatever it is. So that kind of customization of the music and sound is a big selling point for TikTok. That's quite different to any other app we've seen before.
And when it comes to the algorithm, I was going to say, why is it so sensitive compared to maybe the other platforms? Is it they just start to watch?
Yeah, so this is the thing. If I had the deep dark secret from TikTok about the algorithm, I think I'd be a rich woman. It's it's a bit of a mystery. And look, it's to every digital marketeer's like, you know, detriment. They're like trying to plan, like look at their strategies for the year, and you know, nobody knows exactly how it works, but there's plenty of kind of theories around it. But really, I suppose what it is, like, I suppose we're used to platforms where it's friends first. So it's based on the content you're served is based on the people that you follow, the friends that you have, the businesses that you follow. Whereas with TikTok, it's kind of, when you go onto the app, the first thing you do is you go to your For You page, or FYP for short. And that's serve new content based on obviously like your age, your background, that kind of basic info that any platform uses. But then also it seems to be really sensitive to your interests. So, you know, if you, you know, sometimes I'll be looking at kind of different things that I mightn't be interested in, but for work on TikTok, I might search a couple of things or engage with kind of different videos to what I normally engage with. And that'll totally change my For You page for the next couple of days. Like, it's really sensitive and really tunes into what you're interested in. I don't have a 100% recipe for anyone on the algorithm, but I suppose what we always say, I suppose, from a brand's perspective, you know, really try to catch the audience in the first, you know, 7 seconds of your video. Obviously, that's just to kind of hook someone in general, but also some of the kind of theory around the algorithm would be that TikTok really kind of rate their engagement based on your playthroughs. So, if you're like scrolling through TikTok yourself, right, you'll be served a couple of different videos about things that you like. One might have, 1 million views, another might have 50,000, but you'll see the odd video that has 0 views or 8 views. And what that probably means is that video is being pushed out to you in the very early days as like you're in the testing pool, basically. So they push out Philip's video to a small pool of us to check, okay, is this content good? And if we're watching it for more than, a certain number of seconds and we're engaging with it, they're going, okay, Philip's video is really good. We'll push it out to a bigger pool and a bigger pool. And that's how something blows up. So, that's what we always say, grab them for 7 seconds.
I was going to say, the Philip then could become a overnight sensation then, is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. I have high hopes for you, Philip.
Well, please, will you just bring my views up to 9, Maeve, from 8? That'd be really appreciated.
Like yours today.
We can work on that.
But actually, it's very interesting that you say that about the whole search engine piece around TikTok, because I got on TikTok, I suppose, towards the end of last year. It was very interesting because when I jumped on, I hadn't any sort of search history or anything. And it was just showing me kind of random stuff based on my location, maybe Dublin or Meath or whatever. But then as I started to use it as a search engine around, social media tips, SEO, AI, suddenly the amount of stuff that I've learned from the creators who are popping up on my feed and learning from them and how they craft their content, how they create, as you were saying, that hook that hooks you in, like you see it all across TikTok. Here's a website that should be illegal to know, when you're sort of, what is it? And you're literally diving in, and it's kind of, oh wow, I better highlight that. So and I've started to see so many other businesses, even say real estate agents, doing walkthroughs of new sales to trending music is very, very bringing you in. So I think there's huge applications that maybe businesses don't realize. And that kind of leads me on then, Maeve. From what you see, who uses TikTok and the user demographic? Because I think there's a bit of maybe a misnomer that it's just all young people. Like there is a demographic of 30, 40-year-olds and higher who are now increasing. Will that be right to say?
Absolutely. I'd agree with you. I think there's a misconception there. I'm hoping that we're getting there, that people are getting, like, it's, for ages, like we heard people saying, it's a kid's app, it's a kid's app. And I was like, it's really not. Like, but yeah, so there's like 1.8 million users in Ireland over the age of 18. Now with TikTok, like it's 13 plus is what you can advertise to. But like that, people would have seen it as it's for teenagers, it's for our kind of 13, 14-year-olds. But of the current users in Ireland, I think it's about 17% are in the 13 to 17 age bracket. And then 68% are between 18 and 34. So like, if you actually think about that, I think even, and there's obviously people above that age on it, but I think some people are still kind of in the mindset that there isn't any 30-year-olds on it, which just isn't the case. Myself and my friends use it all the time. And, I think we first about this for ages, that it's not a kids app and it's here to stay. And there's a broader audience on there, but we're seeing that now in the stats year on year, which is great, because I think it gives brands a little bit more confidence when they're thinking about it then.
Yeah, I think it comes back to, I think you were saying this, Emer, and you'd probably concur with this, Maeve, is that with any sort of social media channel, just don't discount it outright. Do a bit of user testing, because you may be surprised, because I've seen it when I used to work for myself. Some clients kind of felt, oh, my clients are all Facebook. And then when we did some testing, say on LinkedIn, they realized all the engagement is actually coming from LinkedIn. They're not on Facebook. So I suppose it is a case of, if you don't ever test something, you'll never know if it's right to a certain extent.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very funny, Philip, because I was doing some research regarding I work with the funeral industry, Maeve, and it's deadly, as people would say. Certain people,
I didn't say
anything. But there's a funeral director on there, and he's a lovely guy. His name's Morty Stein, and he answers a question about what people are interested in regarding, what you wear to a funeral and what you put in an urn. And he's over 250,000 followers on TikTok, which I was amazed at.
I think people don't realize what people will be interested in. Like they think oh, nobody's going to care about this. But like one of my colleagues always says it, people are nosy. It's as simple as that. People want to know. So no matter what you're doing, even like there's something that was you know, even just during COVID, there was like a lot of businesses were doing, and they still are, but like doing this where you'd send in an order and you could request to have your order packed on TikTok. So they'd make a video of, I'm packing order number 25, and you know, that's your order, and you're watching them pack their order. Like, so random, but people loved it. Like, you know, people be surprised about what people want to know, and they just want to get like the insider info and see through a different lens. And yeah, it's fascinating, you know.
So what would you say would be, say, best practices then for anyone thinking about getting on TikTok, you know, or are on it at the minute and they're going, this is not working, you know? What would you say?
Yeah. So I suppose one of TikTok's tagline. That's how
you shake your tic-tacs at me, Maeve.
I sound about 85 now. That's great.
No, you know how I feel.
One of their taglines is don't make ads, make TikToks. And I think like really, really clever, but they I suppose that's got the kind of crux of it. Don't put your TV ad on TikTok. You know, piece of content you've made for VOD, don't put it on TikTok. That's not where it's for. So that's the kind of first thing. And I suppose it's something in general brands find tough. I think it's not just they're like, fine, I won't repurpose my TV ad, but they still want to have this kind of polished look on TikTok. Whereas that's just not really what TikTok's about. It's rough and ready. It's point and shoot, like, you know, and it can be hard for people to, you know, to kind of relinquish that and go, okay, it's not going to be the squeaky clean piece of content we always have done or put out on other platforms. But that's what does well. And it's kind of surrendering into that and going, this is what it's about. So yeah, that's the kind of first thing I would say to people. I suppose, look, I'm not about people being on TikTok for the sake of being on TikTok. Like, do your research, know who your audience are, and, you know, build it into your strategy. You know, I love TikTok and I love people using it, but when I get a call being like, we need to do TikTok, it's you know, with no KPIs, no plan, that's kind of no use to anyone. So do think about what you're trying to achieve there. And I suppose what your brand's tone of voice is, because TikTok more than ever is about like a brand getting their personality across. So like, know who you are and like use it to get your voice across. Be fun with it, as fun as you can be within your kind of tone of voice, but be authentic. It's about a brand being who they are on the platform, and that'll be received well then, you know, by audiences. Because I think something we do have to remember about TikTok, and we're coming kind of good with it now, but say it kind of blew up in mainstream, say March 2020. But, you know, a lot of the younger audiences have been using it for kind of 2 years prior to that. It was only August 2020 where we had the first paid ad format available on TikTok. So that was quite a shock for users who've been using it for 2.5 years. And they were like, what are these ads? And they were basically repurposed TV ads. And it was very jarring and it didn't go down well. So when you think about that, this is originally a platform that was used and there was no ads, there was no brands. You need to come into their world and come into their style of content and be native to that. You know, they're not going to come meet you the other way, you know?
No, it is very much like, from me getting on, that's what I have noticed, that when I do that point and shoot, because I kind of, one of my kind of genres that I like is kind of, I suppose, social media tools, or these kind of cool tools, and I can do a 15-20 second, and it is me using, you know, the captions app, talking, and then I flipped around and pointed my computer, and it is rough and ready, but that's what people seem to like, because I'm educating, given like something that it was interesting before I go on to the next question, Maeve, is that when I was doing keyword research, and even just keyword research using TikTok, if you're a business, you know, doing keyword research on TikTok, I found fascinating was that you could put in, say, your search term in the search bar, but then when you scrolled down, it also gives you, people also searched for a whole host of all these other variations, which, once again, I think when businesses, if they start to dive deep into the capabilities, they'll suddenly realize there's a wealth of opportunities for content that could align with what they're trying to, I suppose, communicate to an audience as such.
Yeah, for sure. And that's like that, to be fair to TikTok, that's like only a development in the last kind of, I'd say, 8 to 9 months. And they've done that really well in terms of, even if I watch a video that I think is interesting, when I click into the comments, there'll be like a prompt for a search word relating to the video. So, you know, on TikTok, even if you think of like there could be like drama going on with the Kardashians, and you'd be like, what is this? And then you go in and it'll be like such and such thing explained, or even down to, you know, because people find the whole trends thing, sometimes brands find what the idea of the trends overwhelming. It literally be like X trend explained, and someone will have made a video to be like, this is where it came from, this is the idea. So I think TikTok have done a really good job of that. I think like 40% of 18 to 24-year-olds say that they use TikTok as a search engine, which like, it's just going to be so interesting to see where that goes. But yeah, that's been a really interesting.
So you won't be doing like, I was going to say, you won't be getting in there and going, let's go and Google something up. You're going to be, let's go and TikTok something up.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, potentially.
Google might be in trouble.
Between ChatGPT and TikTok, it could be
TikTok my business, Philip.
Yeah, you never know.
Google my business.
I suppose, Maeve, in your experience of working with clients, if there's a business owner or business owners listening to us today who maybe are maybe their appetite has been whetted to maybe test out TikTok, how should they start going about maybe approaching it to maybe reach their target audience? Like, is there sort of a step where maybe it's be very tight on your customer personas, who your ideal audience is, and then try and do some research on them, maybe on TikTok around maybe some keywords, and then maybe look at competitors, see what they're doing, and then come up with your own content, if you know what I mean? Like, what would you feel is maybe a way they could approach that?
Yes, there's a couple of things, but definitely exactly as you said there, like get on the app. So like, you know, we need to all be consumers first and advertisers second, and that's, you know, off the media platform as well. So get on there, play around with it. That's the best way to kind of get a feel for what's going on out there. But do always remember, like, you're most likely not your target audience either. And your target audience's For You page is going to be very different to yours. So like, you know, you have to remember you're not going to see exactly what they're seeing, but I suppose it'll take some of the mystery out of it. If you find the idea of TikTok a bit intimidating as a brand or as a company, like, or even just as an individual, as a marketing manager, if you're going, God, I don't know enough about this, it'll take a bit of that kind of fear away. The other thing I would say is, like, I suppose there's a number of ways for brands to engage on TikTok, and, you know, you can do one of them, you can do all of them. You can kind of dip the toe in the water. So, you know, the most obvious one is for your brand to have an actual branded TikTok account. Now, that's quite a big, I suppose, commitment of time and resources there. Well, look, it can be. It depends on what your team structure looks like, but that can seem like a lot, because you need to get on there. You need to be making kind of native content all the time, and you need to, I suppose, be consistent with it. You know, you kind of can't come on and make 10 videos and then go dark for 2 months. Like, it's not really going to work like that. So you're going to need to have a consistent plan there. So if that feels too kind of big for you just yet, I suppose the other two options of how you kind of dip the toe in the water on TikTok would be working with a content creator, and I suppose just utilizing their audience and their channel, and then paid ads. So you can do dark ads on TikTok, and that way you can get a feel for, okay, your brand and your brand message, get really targeted with who you're trying to reach, but you're still not committing to like another account to manage and I suppose produce content for if you're not ready yet. So, you know, I would say think about it. There's kind of levels you can go in at. So the other thing I would say as well, like, you know, talk to your agency, or I suppose depending on your company structure, talk to the kind of the young folk, like talk to your Gen Zers, like talk to people who like TikTok is literally second nature to them, because, you know, I always say, I'm like, there could be someone in your company who I suppose isn't like working even in the marketing team, but like does their own TikTok really well themselves. They might want, like, be happy to kind of champion your TikTok account for you. Like, you know, have a think about what an authentic voice is, both for your brand and then, like, who knows the audience well. There might be like a little diamond in the rough in your agency or in your company who can kind of step up and look after that for you. So that'd be kind of my initial advice for anyone who's going, how do I start there, you know?
Yeah, because Philip, you know, it's a different ball game. Like, you know, I used to take the mick out of Philip on his reels, and he'd be doing his old kickboxing with the sunglasses and the air guitar, and I'm thinking, please stop. And I was there wondering, I'm just going to ask, would be that the kind of content that would really perform well on TikTok, or is there something else out there that you would suggest if you want to start somewhere? Start with, is it how to? No air guitars, what that will engage people? What would you say?
Look, I think, like, it's hard to say like generally, because I think it really does come back to like who your brand is and like what you're kind of trying to say. So like,
right,
you know, if you think about it, right, so as an example, I suppose Ryanair is probably, you know, the first person that comes to everybody's mind in terms of who's doing TikTok really well. But if you look at their content, like they only do trends and kind of skit content. They're not providing any informative content of any form or none of that. But it works really well for them because they show their personality. They lean into the, you know, that they're, you know, slagging themselves off and pushing back on criticism they get. That's perfect for the tone of voice and it works really well.
Yeah.
But then if you look at somebody like Woody's do quite a mix in terms of their content. And like they could do a decent amount of creator content and repost that. They do plenty of kind of how-to DIY at home style videos.
Yeah.
And then they have their kind of regular content of going around kind of showing you what's in the shop style. So they've got quite a varied style there. And I think that works really well. But it really kind of depends. There's no one I would say like, oh, X brand shouldn't do a air guitar video or shouldn't do a trend. Like there's room for everyone to pick up on something, but it's about kind of that's where I suppose you need someone who can be kind of quick on the mark, who knows your brand really, really well. And look, maybe you're better having your agency do that for you, but they know the brand to keep you safe enough, but they see a trend and go, that's for you, that this is us. We jump on this trend. We don't jump on that trend, you know, and it's kind of just know, and some of them will flop. You'll always have the odd one that flops and like, that's okay as well, but it's about giving it a go. But as Philip said, like
I was going to say maybe he should test it out for the crack just to see.
Yeah.
Well, if I test it, I might need to do it again because my hip has probably popped out or something, you know. So
glad you said that, not me.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, and I suppose the other thing is like just a relatable content, you know, works really well as well. Like I suppose like Instagram in a past life, that was very kind of like aspirational style, and that was, we were all kind of aspiring after people. TikTok's a lot more relatable. It's kind of coming to meet the audience where they're at. And people love to see a journey of any kind. Like, you know, it doesn't matter what it is. There's a company, an Irish company, Riley, We Are Riley on TikTok, but they sell Spanish products, but they, like, I remember they were everywhere on TikTok from the week they launched, but it was because they were like, we're three girls who quit our jobs and we're literally like doing this business out of the boot of our car, you know, and people love that.
I must look them up.
And here we are now.
Just, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Hey, Philip, maybe you could, combine your talents with them out of the boot of the car.
Maybe I jump out of the boot of the car and do a spinning kick, or something. Yeah, it sounds great.
I'd pay to watch that.
I'll tell you what, yeah. Listen, we have time for one more question, Maeve. This has been great. I can't believe we're already nearly at the end of the first part of the interview. But I wanted to ask you one last question, if I may, and there's two elements in it, if that's okay. How important is it to use, say, popular songs and sounds on TikTok? But the caveat for businesses who maybe not be aware, am I right in saying that on TikTok, a business account can't use royalty songs as such, that there's a separate business TikTok license, or is that right?
Yeah, it's the rock and the hard place. So yeah, for paid ads, a paid ad placement on TikTok, there is a commercial library, and essentially that's what you should be using as a brand. I will say, like, I have seen brands and using, I suppose, like sounds outside of the commercial library and using it as paid ad, and I suppose they have managed to get away with it, I suppose. But I suppose it's not best practice. It's not something like what TikTok will do. If there's a copyright issue with a sound, they'll leave your video up and they'll just turn the sound off, which obviously is a really bad user experience. And, you know, so it's not something that I would obviously recommend. When posting organically, I suppose that's what kind of where brands have a little bit more freedom with the sounds that they're using. But, you know, I wouldn't worry too much about trending songs as in actual songs that are popular. I think that's kind of becoming less and less. It's more about kind of sounds. You'll see people kind of doing a lip sync piece or whatever that might be. Anything can be a trend, which is so like anything could be a trend. From it could be a style of content, it could be a style of editing the video, it could be the transition, it could be kind of just a topic people are talking about. So brands can still jump on kind of trends, even if it's not sound related. So there's options there. So yeah, I hope that kind of gives
Yeah,
you
no,
an
absolutely.
idea.
Like I know filters as well. Like just very quickly, I've been on. There's two filters that seem to be going crazy on TikTok when I was last on, which was this kind of one where people are using a filter to make them look like a teenager. I did it myself.
You don't need that, Philip.
I know, yeah, it's all the moisturization. So, and then there was another one where it was like this old glamour filter where it was making a bit scary. Kind of, women were with no makeup were putting it on and they were totally transformed. And that seems to be gone viral as well. But yeah, she's right, actually.
It can even be like the combination of those two things. And some of them, like I'm not sure if you saw the trend where it was like a sound. The Devil Wears Prada, where she says, what if I don't want to live the way you live? And she says, oh, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this. But it was paired with like an effect that had like mascara running down their face like they're crying. So it's like, you could even just make people work, make TikToks all day for a living. It's like everybody wants this and they're going through the crisis. So sometimes the trend is like a combination of a sound and an effect,
Very good.
So lots to play with, as you would say.
Lots to play with.
For sure.
And we've lots more to come, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to say, so Maeve, thanks very much for, sharing your wise wisdom, tips and insights for show one. Where would you like people to go to learn more about what you do?
So we're at Pluto the Agency on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, everywhere. So that's probably the best place to get us on our website and see everything that we're up to. All things TikTok and all things everything else.
And you can learn a few more, Philip.
I think so. Absolutely. We'll be following you. We have to kind of up our TikTok game.
Definitely.
So, Maeve, fantastic. And thanks so much. It's been a great show. And obviously to you, the listener, if you're watching this at a future time on YouTube, if you enjoyed today's show, you can catch it again on the Let's Get Social Show podcast on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, and of course on the Dublin South FM website.
And again, as I say, just a reminder, we're trying to get up our game with YouTube. I know it's not the topic of the moment, but video is king, as we're all learning about today. And if you would like to go and subscribe, ring the bell and leave us a comment, that would be great.
Absolutely. And finally, if there's any shows or ideas for shows you'd like us to cover, send us an email to inquiries@dublinsouthfm.ie and we'd be delighted to review and maybe turn your idea into a show.
Yay, all the better. So let's go for the moment and join us next Friday, guys, for more with Maeve and TikTok. Thanks again.
Thanks, Maeve. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.